Morning guys, hope you're doing well. So basically we're still fear again, but the crowd are adding short. So that's worth making a video for that in case you're not aware about how the risk calc works. We have a tab on the spreadsheet that looks at the indices and it looks at whether or not they've added long or added short, and you can see we've got green. So greens are good for risk because it tells us that the crowd are selling. If they sell, we should go up higher. It just seems to me that we need to update the API actually, that 643, so that needs updating. So I can do this on that video, on this video. Gold's out and all the indices, they're going a little bit sideways on the FXCM side. So it's basically there's like a bottleneck on their servers. They have just sold S&P, but it's kind of a little bit unreliable in so much as that we're really sideways. So is that genuine data? If so, you know, they have sold the US 30 and DAX, it's just gone sideways. So I guess it'd be like a short video, but let's maybe do the API. And I need to come to my FX book, and then I need to sign in. Yeah, let's accept those, and we're going to do that, and we need to do the API, and then we'll just talk about the bubbles, I guess, because there's been loads of questions about the bubbles, so I'll show you how they look like and how to interpret them. So we'll come to API, extensions, app script, API. So it should be doing it automatically, but my FX book could probably get a bit hammered. So there's that. Let's do that. And then as I think about it, it may not do it. Invalid session. IP bound. So it says all attempts failed. So you've got to try that again. Now last week I had to do this 8 times. To get it into gear. There we go, it's done it. So we should get the latest data. And it might be an idea, if you find the bubbles confusing, we do have a thing called the rate of change, which is easy to explain. So we just wait for that data. 643. There you go, that's got the latest data, 816, 816. Cool. Because the rate of change is a little bit easier to understand. So if it's heavily negative, it means that they're sold. So CAD yen could probably do okay today, performance wise. Okay, so you could look for CAD yen longs. There isn't really anything really outstanding for sales. Perhaps an euro CAD, perhaps a euro pound, perhaps a dollar Swiss, but really they haven't really stuck out very far. However, CAD yen and pound yen have. Okay, so that's an easier way to explain things. We come to the bubbles, maybe the weekly bubbles, it doesn't really matter. So this is net long, this is net short, right? So we have to remember, if something's up here, it should be a sell. If something's down here, it should be a buy. Now this movement is adding, okay, they're adding long. So they're long, added long, right? So if it comes over here, it's more of a sell. So yen is in its typical place of being bearish because the crowd are long and they added long. So we have to look for, we should look for sells on yen. Likewise, down here, short, if it comes across, they've added short, right? So there was short euro, they've added short. There was short Aussie, they added. So added, right? So that's good. So this is the good zone, this is the good quadrant, this is the good quadrant. This is slightly mixed or caution, and this is mixed caution, okay? So just remember that we got like plus, negative, right? So we got negative plus. A plus is then going long, negative is then going short, okay? So this is a good quadrant, this is a good quadrant. Now this would be mixed because they're net short, but they added, we're in the positive zone. So this would be mixed, okay? Likewise, we're in the negative zone, they're long, but they've gone short, okay? So that would be mixed. And it might be, what might happen with these two, they may gravitate down into the buy. all right, and dollar might gravitate up into the sell. So this is the strong sell, this is the strong buy. Okay, so any questions, let me know. Hopefully it's not too bad. Basically this quadrant is like mixed caution, this is mixed caution, this is sell, this is buy. Okay, so look for Aussie longs on a weekly time frame because it's the weekly bubbles, and look for yen shorts on a weekly time frame. And I think that's it. So we know that the FXCM data is buggy, so I can't really show you that. And we know that the crowd have added shorts. We have to be aware that we've got FOMC tomorrow, and we've got CPI on Friday. We've got durable goods out later, but that's not like a massive data point. But the FOMC minutes is, and the CPI. Oh, CPI Thursday. Oh, sorry, PCE Thursday, CPI Friday. So PCE is also very important because that's a measure that Powell looks at. Okay, so the next 3 days is quite important. This is going to be a little bit of a nothing burger because it won't tell us anything new. However, this data will. Right, so be careful with your positions around the dollar. We know that it should be a sell because we might come up here, okay, and it looks like it may well gravitate higher. If it does, it will be a sell sentimentally. Fundamentally, probably maybe not, because we've got the Iran thing going on with the higher oil, and with the higher oil, other countries, important countries, are going to struggle, and the dollar's going to benefit, and likewise the CAD should benefit as well. So obviously the Euro USD is going to struggle because of the inflation on the oil. You know, they have to import it, and if it's going to keep surging in price, it's going to weaken that currency and the economy as well. So there's a quick one on that. Whether or not the dollar is going to align fundamentally with the sentiment, but maybe it will. Maybe we'll be risk on, and we should be if we look at the risk calc. So you know, we've got 4 bears versus the 1 bull, and that'll be back to normal, and they can keep adding short and will be more risk on. Okay, so that's just a quick one there. On the FXCM data, the bubble logic, and also the interpretation of where we are in risk sentiment and risk appetite, and to be careful with the data that we've got, particularly Thursday and Friday. Okay, and remember to trade safely.